What up, people? What up, what up,
Hello,
what up?
hello, hello.
Hey. So hi, I'm Danny.
I'm Gino.
Let's get this cracking.
So, subject of the day.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, I'm gonna say, social media, technology, and more specifically, phones for children. At what time do we start? What age do we say it's okay for them to dabble into
Technology.
that next level? Yes.
It's interesting because we're both technology guys, right? So
Yeah.
what our views are going to be, just for context, if you've never heard this before, and if you're joining us for the first time, we're both fathers of 3 kids. We are both longtime friends, and we both have had careers in the technology world. So our view is probably a little bit more, I'm going to say progressive.
Yeah.
Is going to be more progressive than most, right? To me, technology is a tool. I happen to have a better grasp on it than most.
Yes.
And therefore, I'm going to be more comfortable with it than some people. I have 3 kids, 3 boys. They are 8, 4, and 6 months old. And so what I'm considering, where I'm considering technology right now anyways, is as a stopgap between some interactions that I can't fulfill myself. For example, I have security cameras inside my house,
Mm-hmm.
which are not really security cameras, they're more like baby monitors.
Yeah, yeah.
And they are located in front. One is in the basement, one is in the ground floor. And they are located in such a way that I can see a general area. I have two-way voice, so I can talk to the kids and they can talk back to me. Or at the very least, I can listen in on what's happening in the room. And so I can watch what they're doing. So I would, and none of my kids have cell phones, obviously. Well, not obviously.
Yeah, they're pretty old. What are the ages again?
8, 4, and 6 months old. So the 6 months old obviously will not have a cell phone for a while. The 4-year-old can't read, so kind of pointless.
Yeah, exactly.
William, on the other hand, my 8-year-old, I am actually starting to consider it to provide him with a mobile phone, but not for the reason that you would think. The only reason why is so that he can do some of his homeworks. They use Google Classroom.
Oh, okay,
for school.
nice.
That is actually they don't have an agenda anymore. The kids are on Google Classroom.
Dope. That's so dope.
Yeah, they've gone paperless. By the way, the same school that he goes to also has a 3D printer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk
The
about
principal of the school
technology.
is awesome, and he wants the kids to get started with robotics, 3D printing.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so, and it's a brand new school. Like, it was just built, it's 2 years old. The school, the building itself is 2 years old. The neighborhood is fairly new. I digress. The point that I was making is, the reason why I want to give him a mobile device is so that he can communicate with his teacher and his peers in the classroom. And I can control what he would be doing with the device.
Exactly.
And so to me, it would just be a school device.
Okay.
Right? And I would probably not give him an actual phone, by the way. I'd give him a tablet. So that he can't conceal it and go around with it.
Exactly.
Right? When he has a tablet, like, yeah, everybody sees that.
Exactly.
And
We
put
know
it
what
in
you have.
Yeah, put it in a bright yellow case or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
With rabbit ears or something obnoxious and big.
Exactly.
So it's not like a slick thing. But yeah, that's the only reason why I would give him a smart device. Forget about social media. He is way too young to be even considering this. However, he does regularly speak with his cousins. He has video calls with them every so often. He will call my mom sometimes.
Okay.
By the way, my wife put a list of phone numbers on the wall, and he takes the house phone and he calls. He will call my mom and go, hi grandma, I want to see you. And, it's cute. And right now that's his access to technology. But William doesn't have the sophistication of your boy. Like, they're around the same age, but I could tell that he does not have the sophistication to him. He's in a very, very sheltered reality.
Yeah.
His world is very, very small. The school he goes to, he walks to.
Okay.
The kids are, I don't want to talk down on them, but they're kind of country.
Yeah. Okay. No.
You know,
And it's not a bad thing. It's just it's the way it is.
we live in the country.
The circumstances are, yeah, country. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Enough of them live in or on or around farmlands. You know what I mean? Like that's the reality of the neighborhood. Like there are a few kids that own horses.
Wow.
Because you know.
Yeah.
So it's a different. It's sort of it's not how I grew up, and because of that, like they're not so interested in technology. They're not so interested in social media. That is not part of the ethos of what the kids talk about.
Yeah.
He talks about video games though, right? He's interested in video games, and I have an Xbox, and you know, it's on the schedule. The Xbox internet access is unlocked as of 8 a.m. and it is locked at 7 p.m.
Good.
On the weekends, I give him a little bit more free time, but that is scheduled in the in the router. The video games are children approved. Like he has Dance Revolution, Fruit Ninja. Like these are the types of games that he.
Yeah.
So you know it's fairly PG. It's fairly PG, and I intend to sort of keep it this way. I want to. My biggest fear is to maintain his innocence. Right, that's my concern. I want to maintain his innocence. I want to keep him as childish as possible for as long
as possible. Yeah.
And so my son's very immature, by the way, in what he will talk about. But I like it.
But that's okay. No, exactly.
I like it.
For me, it is quite different.
Yeah.
First of all, so I have my daughter that's 14, my son Elijah who's 11, and then my youngest who's 9, right? So my youngest is close to the age of your eldest.
Yeah.
Let's start with this. Because I'm in IT, like you've mentioned, I am aware of the dangers.
Yeah.
I'm extremely picky on what they subscribe on, what they touch, and everything.
Yeah.
And early on, there was already a rule that I put for all the kids. My daughter already knew that she was not going to have any social networks before 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So literally, this year is the first year that my daughter has Facebook. And it's not all social medias. It's a social media.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave her access to one. And I've already told her we would progressively work into including other ones. So she has Facebook. She had a phone fairly early on, and the reason why was because the logistics. She was going to, well, at the time when they were younger, they were all going to 3 different schools.
Wow.
So Rebecca was in a special music school. Elijah was in a regular public school, like the neighborhood, and then my youngest was still in daycare, right? So I was going 3 places. So by the time her bus would arrive, she would have between 30 minutes, 45 minutes that she's alone. So to be safe and to be sure what's going on, we said, you know what, we'll give you a phone. At the time, she must have been, I think she was about 8 or 9. And it was
the same age as William.
Yeah, but it was a dead phone.
Yeah.
It's strictly a line.
Yeah.
It's lines, text.
Yeah.
Just so that we can call, or well, she would call us when she would get off the bus, and her small walk, which was like less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But we wanted to get her in the habit of checking up with us, and it was a way of testing her maturity. So we already knew she was really mature from early on. But you know, even if you trust your child. Yeah. Even if you think they're the best, and
trust
we all
verify.
Exactly, we still want to give ground rules so that they may not be complacent.
Yeah.
Or simply think, well, I'm good, I'm okay, I don't need to. No, check. I want you to check with me. So you call me in, you're out, okay, you're leaving, you're calling me. The others are coming in, tell us what's going on, give us information, and so. So we gave her a dead phone to begin, to start. And then the year after, we upgraded a little bit, and then the year after, we got her a smartphone. Even when we got her a smartphone, all she had was Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
She still only has Wi-Fi, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm going to focus on her right now because of what's around it.
Yeah.
I heard you mention where you live, where the kids are right now, his circle of friends. He's not thinking of social media, and he's not thinking about, I need a phone, because most of the people around him don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was confronted with a lot of resistance as she got older, because most, I'm not going to say all, but most other parents
Yeah.
were free for all. It wasn't a big deal for them because most were not aware of
They
the
don't know.
dangers.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't know.
They don't know.
They genuinely don't know. So I'm not saying this to say all the other parents were dumb and they should have. No, they don't know.
Yeah.
If you're not in the field or really, have your ears to the ground for these things, you won't know until something really bad or a huge scandal or incident happens on TV. And then you have a reaction like most parents, which is, oh, my children, and then you lock everything.
By the way, for context of us two, and I think that this is important for whoever's watching us and doesn't know us personally, I am a very risk-prone person. I'm somebody that takes a lot of risk as an individual. I won't go into the details of what or why. Gino, on the other hand, is somebody that's very risk-adverse. He's somebody that's very conservative in his views, very conservative in his actions. And so for you to say, you see a lot of risk, however, you saw more benefit.
Yes, it's a pros and cons situation.
Yeah. You weighed the pros and cons and decided to go with a phone. Then evidently, one, you had to be able to manage it. But two, you really had to believe that the benefits outweighed the risks. So, so please continue.
And to go into that, I actually just had a flash. So we were talking way back. Was it you who bought the Nano, or was it Thierry?
Me and Thierry, we bought it together.
Yeah, together. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we bought it together.
So I remember, it seems like ages now.
Huh?
I remember my cousin. It feels like it was super long ago. My cousin and Danny were looking into buying something for my daughter. Yeah. And then my cousin said, you know what, maybe we should get her like an iPod Touch. It's fun. She'll be able to do games. And then Danny went, you know what? You know how Gino is, though. And since we don't know what are the rules of what he allows and what he doesn't allow for his children with regards to Wi-Fi and everything, it might be better than instead of getting him get her an iPod Touch, we'll just get her an iPod Nano. And till this day, she still has the Nano, and yesterday she broke it by accident. So it toughed a long time.
How long ago was that, though?
It's at least 5 years.
Yeah, because that was
so it's 5 and 6 years.
Jeez.
You know? And I thought that was super awesome of you guys. Wanted to give something that my daughter loved and cherished like forever, because she was like, she put her music on it. It was small enough that it could be in her pocket. She would do sports, she would have it. So she was really happy until we upgraded her to a smartphone. I mean, this was the only place where she could have music. So she was in awe about it. And that's the important part. I lock down certain things because I want to have to manage these things as late as possible. Because yes, it's a role, it's a burden, it's a job. Once you open the floodgates, then you have to manage where the water goes. So for my daughter, I knew, okay, when I get her a smartphone and now she has access to the internet, I now have to filter a lot of things. So all the stop gaps that I already had on my router, so that they can't go and browse whatever on the net. Well, now I have to be extra careful, even on what other people would do when they come into my network. For the longest time, by the way, when you would get into my house and connect to my Wi-Fi, if you went into a website that was outside of the categories that I allowed, you'd have a picture of the Bible and a verse saying on top, "Are you sure you want to go there?" It was the funniest. I loved seeing, because it was there for the kids, but then I'd love when somebody was in my house going like, huh? They don't. Oh, what am I? Oh, what? And I'm like, what did you do? What did you do? Where were you going, my friend? I had fun with this, but
that is great.
I had to do it.
That's cool, though. That's cool.
Because, you want to log down, and you don't want to log down in a way that, I didn't want it to be passive. I want it to be in your face. Yeah. And I can step back on certain things. I can rule back certain things. But you have to set the ground rules first.
Of course.
If you check Netflix, well, no, it annoys me less now.
Yeah.
But for a while, Netflix, so you could make profiles.
Mm-hmm.
So you put Netflix on your phone, on your PlayStation and whatnot, computer. But there was no way of locking down certain categories.
Yeah.
So the kids would just have access to Netflix.
Everything, yeah.
So I'd have to stay around them.
Yeah.
So at that time, I would not leave Netflix access or passwords for them to go on just willy-nilly,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
When they got the categories, that I said, okay, nice. So now I'm going to put a password. Everything above, let's say, 14, PG-14, is locked.
I have a password.
You have a password, and we can come and talk about specific shows if you want, which would be a nice topic for next time, actually.
What shows?
Yeah, shows, age, movies, all that stuff. We can get into that in another
Oh, yes,
episode,
we can.
Right? That's going to be an awesome one.
Oh, yes, we can.
So back to my daughter. When she upgraded and had a smartphone, now she has access to the internet.
Yeah.
That's cool. There's a whole bunch of fun stuff. She'll ask me questions. You'll install apps, and I'll come and tell you which apps you can, which apps you can't.
Yeah.
But then her friends, everybody already had the smartphones, or had iPod Touch, but had
untethered access. Yeah.
Exactly to the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And everybody has social media, and she'd be like, "Yeah, but when can I have Facebook?" I'd say, "Listen, I'm gonna go with the guidelines. Facebook starts at 13, so we're gonna start you with social medias at 13, and I don't care if other social medias don't have an age restriction. I'm just telling you so that you have a general sense. We were going to put a rule on everything, and let's go with that guideline, 13. And I said, at any time, sorry, I'm losing my voice. At any time, I can change that.
Okay.
For less or more.
Yeah.
Right? And you could ask her if you know her. At some point, she was being too pushy, and I moved it. I said, it's going to be 14 now.
Yeah.
That's it. Because I don't want to hear about it. Every time, oh, yeah, but my friend did that, the third. Yeah, but most of your friends, even though they're cool, they get exposed to certain things that I think is not necessary for you.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm not ready to talk about it and get you into it. Maybe I need to learn more. But that's what I'm going to do. Let me risk myself first, and I'll bring you back the information. But I'm not going to throw you commando in the jungle and hope for the best. That usually doesn't end well or bode well for things of that nature. So yeah, that's just and that now I'm talking just about my daughter. So imagine everything else follows. So whatever rule, and now it sucks for the other ones. Because if I told her it's 14 for everybody and their mamas. It's everyone down. So Elijah, same thing. Jamal, same thing. They already know. But I did adjust the rules a bit more. So when my daughter had a phone, Elijah did not get a phone at the same time as his sister because the need wasn't there. Mm-hmm. If Rebecca is older, already has a phone, I don't need to give you a phone.
Yeah, your sister has one.
So I'll give you a tablet. Or I'll give you a phone that's, that has access to Wi-Fi but no data and no SIM card. Simply because I want you to be in contact, go around. Sometimes, like, even you see my son, Jamal, he was playing with his phone, right? Controlling the TV with his phone. He has a tablet. It's just that when we're on the move, I've replaced so many tablets.
Yeah.
I don't want him to go around with those tablets and break more. I don't have that much money.
Yeah.
So the small phone, it's easy to put in your pocket. You put a good case on it, we're good.
Yeah.
And it's an older phone, so it doesn't matter for him. He can play, do his stuff. Usually he just uses it as a remote for the Chromecast, and that's it. It's good.
Yeah.
But like I said, you need to check your Wi-Fi, man. There's rules to this. There's levels to this, and people take it too easy until something bad happens.
The thing is like, again, like, you and I are very sophisticated when it comes to this stuff. Like, we have a much greater understanding. And the truth is before they even catch up to where we are now, like, it'll take them a few years. Mm-hmm. And sure, they can read tutorials, watch tutorials, but like I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's simply because we keep ourselves up to date.
Yeah.
Because trust me,
Yeah.
they do more now than I've ever done close to that age.
Really?
The you know when we say this is their century or this is their era.
Yeah.
We to quote Bane in Batman, right? he was born into it, right? We got accustomed to it. They were born into it.
Wow.
We
I never considered that.
We saw the internet come to rise.
Yeah.
We had a time where there was no internet, and then we saw it gradually come up, and then we were part of this. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, the deviation, but I mean, just so you get an understanding, I had something called BBS.
I was just about to say BBS.
Right.
No lie, I was getting to that.
Yeah, because it was dial-up to a site,
Mm-hmm.
a local site that had not internet access, but a network access.
Mm-hmm.
And on this electronic billboard, what you would do is you would exchange things with people. You could trade small files, and I'm not going to talk about speeds and feeds, but the point is it was long.
It took forever.
Yeah.
And if somebody were to pick up the phone while you were transferring stuff, you start all over again.
Yeah.
It's gonna take forever. Dude, I exchanged a version of Doom. Remember? Doom and Wolfenstein through BBS. And my mom kept picking up the phone. I had to do that at night to make sure to let me do this at midnight, start it, get up in the morning, and hope that it finished on time before the first caller, came in. That was messed up. So since we didn't have this high speed, dude, we never believed we would ever see a way of us getting videos. Don't even talk about movies off of the net.
Yeah. But
That's
that
the
was
level
science fiction. That was
like,
fiction.
yeah, one day we'll get that.
Yeah,
but we never thought it would be this short. So for the kids to have access to so much information.
Hold on. So we were super nerds, right?
Yeah.
At our time, we weren't just regular nerds. We were like super nerds because like it was for people to have a computer was something. For people to have computers to have external access to something was something else. But to know people that you can connect with, because for a BBS to work, you had to have a connection with someone on the outside.
A phone number, a line, a list.
Yeah, you have to have access.
You have to be privy to that information.
You have to be privy to that information. So you have to realize just the level of extra nerd. You gotta be like it's
at the time.
Like with a cape. Not where today everybody sort of has Google and you can figure out where to go. Yeah, but back then that didn't exist. It was just word of mouth. You know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, and that's how we communicated. So versus we figured it out and we dug our ways into it versus these kids are just born and this is the norm, right? Everybody knows. We say Chromecast, everybody knows what a Chromecast is, and if they don't, they're like meh. But like everybody sort of knows what YouTube is, everybody sort of knows what Netflix is, everybody this is the new norm, but back then that was not the norm.
No, at all.
So they were born into it, and so their perception and their conception of what this technology is, even though it's new, like the internet as a whole is a teenager, right?
Fairly new.
But when we're talking about social media, that's less than 10 years old, so it's a baby, and therefore is not very mature. The rules and regulations are not really
still getting worked on to this day.
Yeah, I mean, like if you think about the Cambridge Analytica scandal,
right. The whole Facebook thing.
Yeah, like it's. Sorry, Cambridge Analytica is a research firm that mined information. So they went and searched Facebook profiles in order to figure out who, what, where, when, and then created specific targeted ads in order to divert people away from to change their minds basically, or to lie to them in a way that would be believable to them. But now it makes it very, very interesting to think that they are born into it. So does that mean that it'll affect their critical thinking? Because you and I, we both learned how to do proper research.
Yes. Right.
Back in the day of library and books and whatever.
Yes.
Does that mean that they have the ability to do good research? One, because I think that that's very important.
Dude, it is. Again, I'm not gonna toot my own horn. Because I already saw the effects or part of the effects. I work hard.
Mm-hmm.
To curve lazy thought process.
Okay.
Because it's one thing to Google something,
Yeah.
right? It's different to just pick the first thing you find in Google and run with it.
Yeah.
So I always tell my kids, confirm. Go to at least 3 different sources. Cross-check them.
Yeah.
Get the info.
Okay.
Every single time. The same way I actually tell my kids when I tell them you're searching for a word, find 2 synonyms to go with it. So that if you need to use that word in a sentence, in a text, in a composition, if somebody were to ask you, what does it mean?
Yeah.
You'd be at least able to give, hey, 2 synonyms that goes with it. So cross-reference your information. And when they don't, I get pissed. And sure enough, they always, nah, it's your picky dad. Yeah, but that's you. But my teacher's not going to ask for this. But my friend's not going to ask for this. But, again and again, they find themselves to be like, well, I guess he was right.
Yeah.
Because then they notice it. And here's the danger, right?
Yeah.
I told you, as super nerds, quote unquote, self-titled,
With a cape.
Yeah.
We did all this work, this hard work,
Yeah.
to get to the point we were at. And there were plenty of other people that were better than us.
Mhm.
That just meant they were bigger nerds than us.
Yeah.
It just that was more of a passion for them. But there was still work involved.
Mhm.
So when you wanted to do something bad, you had to be extremely good. Okay? Now we have what we call script kiddies.
Yeah.
Right? I'm saying now. It's just, the term itself is 10 years old. But
Is it?
maybe more than that.
Yeah,
I was
I was
already
gonna say-
hearing it by 96. So,
Yeah.
so script kiddies is basically just somebody who you're making a virus or a hack. It's one thing to devise it,
Mm-hmm.
okay, to customize it, to make it, to program it. It's another to just take the recipe and then use it. So that's what it means is you found a script. You found a script on how to do something bad on the internet, and you just follow it. You had a rule book, okay?
Mhm.
So, flash forward to now, and we were talking about blocks, measures to block on the internet, certain
Mhm.
things. My son Elijah, he is extremely smart,
Mm-hmm.
lazy, but extremely smart. I never gave him access to texting or a phone. He only, he had a phone, a mobile device, but he had no line. He could not make calls. He could not text. And he had no real email either.
Mhm.
So it was more like you're on the receiving end, but you can't send anything back.
Mhm.
And I caught him being able to make calls and text. How? Well, he used WhatsApp. And you're going to say, yeah, but what at the time? WhatsApp, you need a phone number.
Yeah.
Oh, no problem. He went on the net and he found a way to spoof a phone number. He took that phone number and that's what he set up the WhatsApp on. And then was able to send texts through WhatsApp and to make calls on WhatsApp. And it's not because he was like maybe using that to prank people. No, he was just like, I want to call mom. And, there was a problem with the phone. And, I'll find a way. So he searched the net and he found a way. Right? So here's the thing. I'm not saying he's a genius because he did it. Because anybody could have Googled it. Anybody could Google it. What I'm telling you is the information is right there for everyone.
Hold on. Let me tell you a story because
Go.
I think that'll wrap a really nice
Bow to it. Okay.
around what you just described. So, it was the Rio Olympics. I'm sitting down with my boys. We're watching the Olympics, and Simone Biles, who I believe is actually an android, not a human being, is doing another one of her like umpteen backflips, twist, move in the air, and I'm like, she's amazing. Like she's
Yeah.
absolutely amazing in that. And after a while of watching the gymnastics competition, the boys start noticing the flags on the people's clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, well, we know this flag. This is a U.S. flag.
Yeah.
We've seen this before. It's nothing new. But the other one, we don't know that flag. What is that? Well, obviously, that's Russia. And William goes, Russia? Where is Russia? What's Russia? I've never heard of Russia before. Enter the inquisitive mind. Daddy, can you open Google Map? I want you to show me where Russia is. And I'm like, what? This is now a 7-year-old boy that is fully aware of the reality and the actualization of... And then he goes, how far is it from here? Like, you mean home? Like what do you mean? You mean in as a crow flies?
Yeah.
Like, you mean by plane? Like, well, I want to know how far it is, and I also want to know how long it would take to take a flight there. I'm like, okay, so, you know, I pull out the iPad and start
Give me
searching
information.
it. And I go, well, it's this distance, and, you know, to go fly to Moscow would be from Ottawa to Moscow. This is how long it would take. He goes, oh, okay. So what language do they speak in Russia? Because it's far, so they probably don't speak English. I'm like, okay.
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 So, well, they speak Russian. Oh, Russian. What does that sound like? Daddy, can you open a YouTube video and play people speaking Russian? And so I don't know, I just, Russian news. I put the Russian news, and there's a Russian guy talking in a language that I myself don't understand. Yeah. He goes, yeah, but that's boring. I want to hear kids speaking Russian. Like, whatever. I go ABC song Russian. And, you know, there's a kid from like a Russian version of Sesame Street singing the ABC. And then this is the straw that broke the camel's back. He looks at me, he goes, hey, you remember your friend, Mehdi? Yeah, he married to a Russian woman. So his daughter, does she speak Russian too? I want to speak Russian with her right now. I'm like,
Wow.
See, here's the point of this story, right? Because it's exactly the same thing as with Jamal. There's a problem. I know the solution exists. It's not even the concept of what.
Yes.
What,
Yes.
Like, they think on a different. I would think of these things after the fact, and I'm somebody that loves information. I love to. I seek
agreed.
a lot of information.
Likewise.
But eventually, I will realize that, hey, maybe in these places the information exists. He doesn't know where the information exists because he's too young to conceptualize this at this point.
There's no impossible for him.
But yeah, the idea of impossible doesn't exist. To him, I want to know. You can find out. Find out.
Yeah.
And to him, like, you don't know the answer. Well, obviously you can find out.
Yes.
And that is just normal. The idea of impossible does not exist. And so that is, I think, the point of.
That's right.
We learned they're born into it.
They're born into it.
Yeah.
They know. And like I said, I didn't think he was a genius, my son, because he found the information. It's because he thought of searching for that information. So yeah, it totally links with what you just said. He just knew, it's somewhere.
I don't know the answer.
I'll find. And inside of 2 YouTube links, boop, got the info, put it in effect.
Yeah.
Now he's using it. He did it. Then he showed it to his sister.
Yeah.
Then he showed, so now I had to,
cut that off.
I had to cut the snake
Yeah.
from the 2 ends. Be like, okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
But I also had to explain, right? Because I couldn't just cut it
Respect.
off. So I had to explain why. Okay, this is dangerous and this is bad and this you shouldn't do. This is illegal and don't link or click on just anything you find. And then, so I was annoyed in one sense.
Yeah.
And in awe. I was annoyed because like, I
to
thought I
deal
still
with
had another 3 years before getting to that work. It's really that.
No.
I already knew I would have at some point, but it came up faster than you thought.
Yep.
Now let's take the story you just took, you just mentioned, and bring it back to 20 years ago. If you had asked that same question, how would have your dad or mom been able to show you? Because if she said, okay, where is it? She go, all right, let's take a trip to the library.
Yeah.
Let's start with that, and then go to the library, find some books.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the days, it would not even be Russia. It'd be USSR, and then we'd start from far, okay?
Yeah.
And then you'd explain a whole bunch of things. And if she wanted to hear something, then she'd be like, okay, well, let's watch the news tonight, and hope there's some news about it.
So to piggyback on what you're saying right now, and my wife and I have talked about this extensively because we were just realizing just how far his reality is compared to ours. And we said this would have been a 1-week project.
Yeah.
This would have been a 1-week project. I would have had to, if I wanted to know how long it takes to fly to Russia, like I would have to call travel agencies. You would have to get back to me. Some of them would probably be asking, well, how much for a ticket? Like, it would be a whole project.
Yeah.
That in and of itself. Then finding people that speak Russian, being myself, I would have asked a couple of coworkers, the neighbors who speaks Russian in the area, maybe go to the consulate, maybe, you know what I mean? Like, and then get the kid to meet a Russian child and then have a conversation with him. And then you want to hear a Russian video, like all these things that are, in the matter of minutes, by the way, all of this that I'm describing, I'm saying as this is a span of 15 minutes. And 15 minutes later, he's having a call with Sophia, and he's like, "Hey, Sophia, do you speak any Russian? Blah blah blah. Can you say words? Blah." And that's it. Like, not only did he want to interact with this thing that he didn't know, but he wanted to make it palatable and approachable. To him, it's just a thing.
That's incredible.
Yes, impossible does not exist for these kids. Impossible does not exist. It just doesn't. And I cannot wait to see what they come up with next. I can't wait.
And it's the reason we cannot demonize just the net, or it's a tool, right?
Yeah.
It can be used for good or for evil.
Absolutely.
So when you look at this tool, the amount of information is there. When I was young, elementary school, I remember. I had a friend, his name was Jean, not Jean-Guy, but Jean. We go to school together. He knows how to break dance because he went to the United States for a while. Yeah. He lived there for like 2 years. Came back, now he breaks dance. I want to break dance too. I do a couple of moves. I've seen on TV once in a while. You can literally, like, if you want to dance like Michael, you have to watch the videos. Now, either you plug yourself to Music Plus or Much Music, or what's the other music channel?
MTV, yeah.
You go on MTV and then
have a VCR.
Exactly. You wait till the video is gonna go on because there's no on demand. You're gonna wait till it passes.
Yeah.
Press record and then rewatch them, right?
A million times.
And then you'll be good enough. But it's always good when you have somebody that can show you.
Yeah.
Now he didn't want to show it because he was like, yo, that's a skill. I'm the only one who has it. I'm going to keep it. I don't want to show you how to do it.
Yeah.
So I managed to find ways of doing it. But there was no class. Like, the closest thing, I was asking my mom, I want to do breakdancing. She came back with a course of, like, flash dancing. It's nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Jamal watches a lot of videos, dances. He's self-taught. And then I brought him to a class.
Yeah.
Urban Element, great school. Started music there. Then he found another teacher, breakdance teacher. His name is Dr. Step. Awesome guy also. And that upgraded him to a certain level.
Yeah.
But how did he start? Well, just by seeing videos, YouTubes, seeing people all around the world, including Russia, dance. And now they can all share. And then they can go back and film themselves and see what they do musically and all these other softwares. And then, wow, okay, awesome. I did things, right?
It's crazy.
So even though I said I don't give them access to, like, they don't have necessarily accounts. Like, Jamal doesn't have a YouTube account, but he uses YouTube, right? YouTube is a social network. It's video content. It's a lot more, but it's essentially it's a social network too. You communicate with the people all around the world with videos. And that's might be actually how you're watching us right now is through YouTube. So I'm not demonizing it. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's important for us to put it in a certain spot and manage it properly until they're able to manage it themselves, which I'm not saying that you will have to block them forever. Even now, my daughter's already 14. I review certain things, but I also have to give her some leeway to explore. And keep myself always available so that if she has questions, she can have them answered. Actually, not too long after she had her account, she was hit with a Facebook virus.
No way.
And how did she get to know? Because I told her. I had already told her, like, hey, listen, you'll see, quick enough. Like, it's not. I'll repeat, Disneyland and everything is happy, joy. But she clicked the link. And the way the virus works is you click it and then it starts spreading to other people on your list. So I receive it on my phone. There's a link. I look at it. I go, yeah, Rebecca, you have a virus? She said, what? What are you talking about? I said, you have a virus. Well, how do you know? Because you just sent me a fake link. She's like, well, I had the same thing, but it was my friend that I know and I clicked it. I said, yeah, but here's how you know.
a real YouTube link is this way, this way, this way. But then I look at it and you see these things are not there. It shows its way. And see the title, it's especially titled to make it enticing for me to click. Like, it's a title like, oh, your nudes have been leaked.
Yeah.
You know? And, well, first of all,
I have no news.
I have no nudes.
So
That's one. Second of all, some people that know they don't are still like,
still clicking it.
wait, what? Maybe it was not for me.
Yeah.
Maybe there's still news.
Uh,
You don't know. And the message changes. So maybe it was like, oh, look at the embarrassing picture of you. And that's the one that got her. She was like, huh, what? Clicked? Oh, I don't see anything. That's weird. And then she's back. She didn't see it spread to everyone.
Yeah.
I had to explain. There you go. Give me your phone. I'm going to go into the account. I'm going to change things, kick it out, block it, and then we're clear with it. That was just an example.
Mm-hmm.
That was one bad thing that you can get. Now she knows. Now she's careful. She knows if something is weird, I'll go and see that. And it doesn't mean I have all the answers, but I can find it. That's the important thing. I can find it quickly.
Yeah.
I've told my kids this, and I know, as an IT dude, man, at the level you're at, you will agree. Sometimes I will work with a client, computer-wise, and I will fix their problem inside of 2.5 minutes, right? And then they'll say, well, why should I pay you this amount? It only took you this time, and you went to Google to find the answer. I could have done it. I said, yes, I went to search on Google, but I knew what to search for. It took me 2.5 minutes. It could have taken 2.5 hours for you. So it's your call. Either I fix it for you right now and you pay my worth because of the knowledge and the baggage that I've acquired.
Yeah.
Or do the work I did. Go fiddle. But if you don't like it, don't be mad.
Yeah.
Me, it's a baggage that
For
I have.
a few years.
So that's what we do.
Yo,
They're gonna pass us.
You know, it's kind of interesting. I was at I went to visit a customer last week. I was voluntold. It wasn't. Anyways, I went to visit them. I'm not gonna get into the great nitty-gritty details, but it was in London, Ontario.
Last week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yo, dude. Holmes, it's almost a 10-hour drive from here to go. So yeah, it was. Anyways, I show up, and I don't understand the technology that they're working on. I don't understand the problem that they have. I don't understand why they have this problem. Do not understand the environment. Their network is so complicated. It's used as a case study for most networking companies.
Wow.
So I show up there, and I'm expected to solve the problem. It took me 2 days. I solved it, but it took me 2 days. And after that, I was talking to one of my coworkers, and he's like, well, how did you solve it? Somebody that's in sales. And I was like, well, Holmes, I don't understand what the problem is, but I do understand how it's supposed to work and why it's not working.
Yeah.
Right? So I can deduct from there. I can create
That's right.
bubbles. Right? And from there, you go by process of elimination. You eliminate the various things in the various bubbles, and one by one, and one by one, and one by one. And once you've narrowed it down, you know the problem is in this bubble. You may not know how to fix it.
Yes.
You still don't understand most of the stuff. But because you know which section of, the things that this problem is found in, you have an ability to resolve it, which I did. Still, by the way, not understanding.
That's right.
And somebody was like, well, what did you study to learn this?
Yeah, I love that question.
I didn't study anything. It's just hard work over years and years and years. That makes us able. And so I kind of want to, I'm very weary to get back to the kids. I'm very weary that they have so many easy solutions.
Yeah.
Right? Because of scripts, because of apps. Like at one point I remember there was a Palm Pilot app to hack Wi-Fi web keys. And when I saw that app, it freaked me right out. It was sold as a security thing.
Yeah.
And you could listen to web traffic via...
Yes, at the time, yeah.
It didn't have Wi-Fi built into the Palm Pilot.
No.
It was a module.
By the way, you probably lost 3/4 of the people by saying Palm Pilot.
Oh. Before iPhones, there was another personal data
Agenda,
organizer. A personal data organizer. It was we call those PDAs, personal data assistant, personal data organizers, and it was like basically what an iPhone is today, but it was made by a company called Palm. And they had an app store, which was a store that you went to, and there was a bunch of developers that advertised on it. And one app that I found, because that was the technology that I used before, it was like a small iPhone but with no phone.
Yep.
I found an app where I could hack Wi-Fi network passwords with it, but that was before the new generation of Wi-Fi passwords that we have today. And it was a tool to validate the security of your network, and. Like, I mean, the app was $20. Like, I bought it for $20. I needed a $150 dongle for it to work, but the app was $20, and it's a tool that I would use to sell my services. I was like, well, you need to secure your network. Why? Because look, this is what you're currently sending. This is the traffic that's currently happening in your house, and anybody could hack it if they have like this device and $20. So like the world has evolved to a point where I don't have to be so sophisticated as to understand. Long encryption. I don't have to understand any of it. I happen to know how it works, but I could see how in the wrong hands,
what it can do.
Yeah, and that scares me because I don't think our kids are bad or ill-intentioned. I don't know if you knew this. For example, if a kid forwards a nude picture of another kid,
yeah, that's illegal.
Yeah, but it's not just it's illegal. You get a slap on the wrist. No. This is considered child pornography.
Yeah,
yeah. Like
even though the two kids are the same age.
Yeah.
Because this data, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's data.
Yeah.
Goes through the internet network, whatnot, how you would call it, but you transfer it to someone.
Yeah.
Automatically becomes
child pornography.
Child pornography.
Exactly. And so, like I know that the kids are not ill-intentioned, but I don't think that they realize just the extent to which their actions have consequences.
That's right.
And sometimes, kids are kids, right? Whatever happens in the yard, a kid kicks another kid, like, oh no, he kicked them. It's not that big a deal. Like in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big a deal. One kid's hurt, one kid's upset, whatever. We'll work it out. But when this stuff has like criminal repercussions,
yes,
this is bad.
And again, it's because of the technology, and the way things are right now. It's
easy to do.
It's easy to do,
yeah,
but yet so young. All this is immature.
Yeah.
And because we haven't caught up to it, legislation-wise.
Mm-hmm.
So the changes to the system have not been done yet. That's why
to catch up.
The internet forever was known as the Far West.
Yeah.
Which is like anything goes. There's nothing. And then slowly you have to lock it down, bring it to revenge porn, and you'll see how, okay, well now we have to state, okay, if a video of sexual content is done, between even two consenting adults, well, when this information goes out, okay.
Oh! Okay, sorry.
Go and...
This woman had a revenge porn video of her leaked, and the only way she found to stop the video is she had to apply for copyrights. She applied for the copyrights of the video, and then she sued the company that had it posted on their website for $6 million, saying that you're making money, you're profiting off of my copywritten content, and that's how she was able to get control back of it. But to be completely honest with you, can you imagine how demeaning that must be?
And
that's horrible.
And it's funny. So you mentioned that.
Yo,
here's the angle I was gonna attack.
Yeah,
dude, this is basically how people are fighting for their rights in music industry.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's my song, let's say, was leaked, or my song is playing. Mm-hmm. Somebody took it, copied it, profits off of it. Mm-hmm. What's my recourse? It's my patent or my copyright, and the system itself is broken. So even there, it's awesome that she was able to do that, even thought of doing it. But like you said, in this scenario, well, I never meant for this to be outside.
Yeah.
That would be as if we don't put the image, it's as if I took your story. Yeah. I know of your whole story, everything that's happened to you. Mm-hmm. I take it, I write a book out of it, and I make millions.
Mm-hmm.
You pick up the book and you're like, that's my story.
Yeah, yeah,
That's who I am.
yeah.
You had no right into spreading all this information on me, then profit on it.
Yeah.
What do I do so I can get this back and control it? But all this is because the system itself was broken. Or wasn't, it was piecemeal.
It was never intended.
It was piecemeal.
Yeah.
It was not, like you said, when the internet was conceived, we didn't know it was going to become
This big.
this animal.
Yeah.
It was not, it's huge. And I'm happy that it became it. I'm happy that we have this tool now. It makes a lot of things easier, but we always have to be able to go back to the basics. And that's what we need to teach our kids.
The basics.
The basics. If you have a fast way of doing things, cool. But understand how it works, then use the fast way, and then we'll be good.
Yeah.
If you don't have that basis, well, when that fast way breaks, which it will,
You're
which it
effed.
does,
Yeah.
you took
Because
completely
you're not
screwed.
ready for L's. You know, one of the things that I'm doing right now is I'm recycling laptop batteries.
Recycling.
I'm
and
recycling.
And you're
Yeah, I'm
literally-
taking the cells, the individual cells, and cycling through them, making sure that they have enough power. I'm building a battery. I wanted to build a battery for the house, but I realized just how involved it
Yeah.
would be from a power perspective. So I'm going to build a go-kart. I'm going to build a go-kart for my boy and I to ride on. The goal of this is for him to get an understanding of the physics behind it. Power dispersion. Like, I want him to get an understanding. Like, sure, you look at something and it goes fast and it works and it just happens.
Yeah.
Right. And I would teach him how to build a computer like a tower. But to be honest with you, like, not that the thought is too daunting for me. Obviously, like, this is something that I can do. But he's not going to be as interested. He's not going to be as involved.
No, exactly.
So I want to teach him something fun in order to teach him the semantics of it, right? You want it to go longer, you do this. You want it to go faster, you do that, right? Here's the gear ratio, but there's also the power ratio, but there's also the voltage, there's also the
Yes.
wattage, there's also this dispersion of energy, the efficiency, the heat dispersion. Like, I want to teach him all those things in order for him to have a grasp of what looks to be magical and no, that's how it works.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, get back to the grounded basics, and that's something that anyways, I'm building batteries. I'm probably gonna be buying my frame sometime soon, because I've been. What I was looking at before was like race carts, and that's way too expensive, and I want
Yeah.
to keep the project within a reasonable budget. But the goal is I want him to learn how to do things with his hands and not just into the virtual. I want to make it a research project. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I wanna,
That's a dope project. That's a really dope project.
I think so. I think so. And I figure if we build a good powertrain, then it can be upgraded to a side by side, and maybe
Yeah,
eventually
there you go.
off-road.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's where my head is at. I want to interest my children into understanding how things work and asking the question, how does it work? Right? Because that's how we grew up.
Yeah.
You wanted to figure it out? Guess what, buddy? You're gonna have to figure it
Go.
out yourself.
Go.
There's probably no education. There's probably no books. There's probably no manuals on this stuff. You will have to dig in and figure it out yourself. And this idea of doing research, looking for 3 resources, reading up on it, finding the good people in the area that know about it.
Exactly.
Like that kind of thinking is not something that's very common nowadays, and I think that we need to get back to it.
And it's interesting you say that. It actually reminds me of some places where a lack, not understanding.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say compassion either. Part of it is laziness. I'll give you an example. So you're talking about a I consider it a huge project because of how involved it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have my son Elijah, who will just like Google how to make slime, and he just wants stuff to make slime, and I get pissed off because I'm like, last time you made slime, well, you made slime. It was disgusting everywhere.
Yeah.
You didn't clean up. I'm pissed. No, I don't want you. All I need is these things, and like, no, I don't feel like it. And it annoys me, and he goes back to his mom. He tries at his mom's. He makes a mess. We're both mad now. He's never in a good position. But at the same time, I guess because I understand already what it is, I'm not letting him go into it enough. So a bit like my mom, you know what? It's like my mom. I used to break things or, disassemble everything I had to understand it.
How it works?
I would get a race car, like a remote control car.
I play with it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I get bored.
Take it apart.
Here you go. Get them tools out. We're going hunting for treasure. And then I open everything, and sometimes I put it back and it doesn't work properly anymore. And that's life.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when the doorbell was not working at my mom's house,
Mm-hmm.
and I was able to fix it just because well, it's because this doesn't make a contact no more. You just need to put this, and then it's done. Yeah, my mom found that to be amazing.
Yeah.
But for me to get to that point,
Yeah. You
I
have
had to break stuff
Yeah,
up, right?
of course.
So in my head, now that I know the internet is there, it's as if I'm telling the kids, go search for the explosion. It's gonna blow up. Look, and then you'll know you don't have to do it. Because I don't want him to make his own mistakes. But it's important. It's a lesson.
Absolutely.
If I don't let you have that lesson,
Yeah.
well, there you go. You're not gonna be careful next time. You'll do something
Reckless.
not carefully. You'll be reckless,
Yeah.
and it will happen in an uncontrolled area or
Absolutely.
environment.
It was Neil Tyson deGrasse, I think, that made this statement. He was like, "Kids are natural scientists, right? They are naturally scientists.
I remember
They
that, yeah.
want to test. They want to test tensile strength. They want to verify physical. They want to verify physical strength. They want to verify biodiversity. They want to They want to play with war. They want to do all those things, and we are as parents are usually coming in the way and going stop. And I think that the internet is a great tool. I think it's a great tool, but I think it's a horrible master.
Yes.
Right? If you use it as a tool, so long as you continue using it as a tool. By the way, this expression, I know that I perverted it, but normally it's supposed to be money is a great tool, but a
Yes.
horrible master. But I think that the internet falls within the same category. Because if you follow the internet, then, you're
Yeah.
following nothing effectively. And you're following for not the right reasons. But if you use it as a tool, in order to share information with a bunch of people that want to listen to us talking about three kids, then it could be a great tool. But if you follow the internet, just the internet, and follow every trend and do whatever is online, then I think it's it can lead to horrible faith.
It is not a teacher.
No, it's not
It's a
teacher.
tool. You can use it to teach.
Yeah.
But all it is spreading the content. But somebody is putting the content in.
Absolutely.
It's not creating content by itself.
No.
So as long as, like you said, we understand this network, we understand this proliferation of information, then we'll be able to use it properly and not be mastered by it.
Oh, well said.
Quote that ish.
Yeah.
Quote
yeah,
that.
Yeah, I like that.
I think we went around the subject.
I think we did.
properly.
Well, Gino, thank you very much for this conversation.
It's always a pleasure.
It's enlightening always to put things into context, and I think that we came to a good conclusion with this one, right? As far as using the internet to teach our kids versus teaching our kids to fear the internet.
Yes. Well said.
Right. So I think that that's a good way to circle the wagon. So thank you very much for this conversation, guys. If you're still listening, thank you very much for your attention. If you like this video, please share, subscribe, click the little like button. It really helps us. We put most of our stuff on YouTube, but you'll find advertisement on Facebook, and you'll also find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, and everywhere else you can find your podcast.
That's it.
That's it.
Peace.